week, the National Association of Realtors announced a major change to the way people buy and sell homes.
So the standard 6% commission is now kind of up for grabs, right? And there's different things that are going on. So let's go to Carla here, Magee, a realtor and investment property specialist with My Home Group. Good to see you. How are you?
Carla, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
So some people are saying this is a total change in how things are being done, but you're saying maybe not necessarily. So what's your read on this whole decision?
So the whole decision is just informing the public that our commissions have always been negotiable, and they were always published on the MLS as what we call the co-broke, what the brokerage is offering the buyer's agent on that side. And in July, they're just going to remove that information. So now a buyer's agent will have to call that selling agent and say, hey, is there a co-broke on this and what is it?
So during the commercial break, we were chatting and you gave a really good explanation of how it works.
Yes.
So how does it work if I were a new home buyer and I was coming to you and say, Carla, can you represent me? I would love for you to help me buy a house.
Right. So there's two sides, right? There's the buying side and the selling side. What has commonly and typically happened over the years is you have a listing agreement with me to sell your property. I generously offer half of my commission to a buyer's agent to bring a qualified buyer to the table.
Because otherwise, what would a buyer's agent even get?
Right, exactly.
It would not be paid.
Correct. You
Okay.
can pay you can pay your own buyer's agent.
Oh,
it
really?
happens in commercial all the time. Yes.
Interesting.
But you know, by the time you've saved up for a down payment and you have title costs and lending costs, who has an additional, $10,000 to pay a buyer's agent to help you go through your transaction and make sure you're protected?
Right.
And generally, it's the person selling the house who's going to have the extra money because you have the equity in it, right? So that's kind of the way that's always played out.
Right.
There are a bunch of different things out there. The 72 sold we see all the time, this 990 coming out. Why is it better to have a broker? Can I ask you that?
Yeah. So you've always been able to sell your house for sale by owner. That's always been an option. That's still an option. To have a broker, we have access to databases, MLS, marketing that not the typical person selling their home has. And then also just to make sure that you're well protected. If you are selling your home on your own, you have to make sure that you're aware of fair housing and disclosures, because your home is the only purchase you will ever make that has no warranty and no guarantee. And so someone could come after you later and say, hey, you never disclosed that roof, or you discriminated against me for this reason.
The legal aspect to those contracts.
Yeah.
The other thing I think that is important with like using a real estate agent or a brokerage are the relationships that you have.
Yes.
So if you have somebody who wants to move in that particular neighborhood, you may be able to connect those two people.
Correct. So there's things I have access to that are they're public knowledge, but we just have easier access to. If you want to move into a particular neighborhood and there's nothing for sale in there, I know how to contact owners. I perhaps have contacts of people who own in that neighborhood. Right now there's a property, it's a medical property, and I have someone looking for one. I was like, ooh, I actually know someone who wants to buy one. It's not listed, it's not anything else, but due to my connections and professionalism, I have those relationships.
So if you're looking at it, I mean, the typical cost for a home is what, close to $450, I think, in the valley.
I
It's
think
right
it's,
around
yeah.
there. So say you have a
Very
$500,000
pricey.
house, 6% of $500,000 is like 30 grand. I mean, that's not a cheap thing.
No.
But you say that the quality's built in, or the value's built in.
Yes, the value is built in, and I think where the disconnect happened is that agents were not doing a good job of showing what that value was on the selling side and on the buying side. And part of our burden and our job is to make sure that it looks easy and it looks smooth and that you have no issues. And so I think over the years what happened is it looked easy and it looked smooth, and everybody's like, then what are you doing? And it's like, I'm shouldering all of the burden on the back end so that you don't have to go through this.
So is 6% still standard, or are we in the kind of a weird zone? Is it?
So-
what's the lowest you would take if you were selling a house?
It really depends. So it depends on my relationship. It depends on the house. For family and friends, I do something different. I've always kind of done things on a tiered commission. Like I said, it's always been negotiable. If you want my full service, if you want me to do all the work and do everything, I personally would charge a certain percentage. But
What would that be?
It would probably be about 6 is where I
Okay.
would start. But in commercial, we go up to 10 too.
Yeah.
So, but if
You're really demanding, Troy, she's going to charge you 10%.
That's it, Troy, just for you.
Yeah, oh good. I'm getting a deal. The wrong kind. All right, Carla, thank you. Get your info if somebody wants to get a hold of you.
On Instagram, Investment Real Estate AZ.
Great. Thank you so much.
Good to
Carla.
see you,
Appreciate
Carla.
it.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after this. Stay with us.